Melissa.
Hey, Laura.
What time is it?
It's Divine Mother Earth time. Laura, who loves Divine Mother Earth more than farmers? They take care of Mother Earth while they grow the produce, live foods that feed and nourish us, keep us healthy and vibrant and extend our lives. And today we have America's farmers, Anne and Dan Manassero.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to meeting our guests. And here they come.
I know,
right
I'm
now.
so looking forward to them. Anne and Dan.
I've been take a little
been
bit
wanting to talk to them forever.
Oh gosh, yeah. So as soon as their volume and their audio gets connected, we will be able to see them. And we've got so many questions for them. So many
questions. And there's nothing more important than farmers right now. So this is a talk I've been waiting for.
I know. And just
they've been celebrating 101 years of farming in Orange County. Isn't that amazing?
That is. This is just an image of the Manassero Farms.
The original Manassero Farms. They have 4 farms. And did you know that California produces most of the fruits and vegetables, the produce in the country? Wow. Hi, Anne.
Hey, can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Nice to meet you finally.
Great. Oh, nice to meet you too. How are you?
We're doing great. We're so happy to speak with you and Dan.
Yeah,
we're so
really wonderful to meet you guys. So we're
get him on over here. All right. He's walking around in the background getting coffee.
Well, yeah, I relate. I mean, there's nothing. I need coffee. I can't do it.
Right?
Yeah.
Where are you ladies located?
Well, I'm right now in Florida, in Highland Beach. I'm moving.
Oh, nice.
In a few months. I mean, actually 8 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, look at the palm tree in your background.
Yeah.
I'm in Big Fork, Montana on Flathead.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's incredible that you've had your farm for 101 years, a family farm in Orange County.
You have no idea how hard that it gets harder every year.
We want to talk about all that. We're going to dig right in. We have so many questions for you guys. I can't tell you how excited we are to be speaking with both of you.
I know.
Oh, you're so nice. We're very excited. Thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Oh my God.
We're just trying to get the word out to everybody.
We know how important it is.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So are we waiting on Dan or we want to just get started?
You guys can do what you want to do. Dan's just gonna bring us coffee right here. And
okay, well, I just have to say I can't think of a better first guest on Divine Mother Earth Time. Marissa and I just started this show and you are our first guests, and what an amazing way to begin, because this is the most important thing when it comes to just
shut the door.
And
hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Morning.
Good morning. So we were just saying that you two are our first guests for our show, Divine Mother Earth Time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And we wanted to have you on first because who takes better care of the planet than farmers? And you too are America's farmer. So here we are.
Oh, you're so nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for all you do. So we were looking at your Instagram page, which is amazing. I love it. We love your Instagram page.
Thank you.
I am obsessed with strawberries. And every time I go to your page, my mouth is literally watering. And I actually want to hop on a plane right now and come to your farm. So, and you know what I love about, it's funny now because it seems like strawberries don't even taste like strawberries, which is, yeah. I mean, they're like corporate strawberries, right?
Yeah, they don't when you're in the store, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to dive right into that. But I wanted to ask you Oh, there you are with your strawberries and your beautiful products back there. I mean, I'm definitely gonna get on a plane right now.
Right.
So, I wanted to ask you, because we were looking at your Instagram page, what is a Ola berry? How do you pronounce that even?
A lullaberry, it's a type of a blackberry,
Mm-hmm.
kind of crossed with the 3 different types, but it's just a specialty type, and it's really, really good. Just
Oh
people
my-
love them. We
Oh
can't
my
wait, but fortunately, it's a short season, only lasts about 4 weeks.
And are they in season now?
Yeah, they were actually a little late. We usually get some at the end of May, but it's been so cool where everything's behind. So we just got them right around the 1st of June. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, that's one of the things we wanted to ask you about, the weather and all that other stuff. But I know we remember when, food actually tastes like what it was. My parents had fruit trees and had a garden and grew tomatoes, and now everything in the supermarket, like tomatoes, taste like water. How long? I mean, sometimes I wonder how long has a supermarket produce been sitting on the shelves? And why does it all come from another country? Can you talk to us about that?
Well, I know as far as it being sitting on the shelves, that really depends on what kind of produce that it is. Because, for instance, things like butternut squash, that stuff can stay for up to a year in a warehouse. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So it really depends on what the produce is and how ripe they pick it and all that kind of stuff. So it's just tough. So, but Dan, you can talk. Well, I'm sorry. What was the rest of your question?
Well, a lot of you were saying about the strawberries
yeah.
not tasting
Yeah.
like strawberries. Well, what people don't know is there's hundreds of varieties of strawberries. Some are really sweet and some aren't sweet. And the big commercial growers tend to grow with what has the most shelf life, because that they got to ship them from California across the country. It takes 3 days in a truck after they've already been in a warehouse for a day. So they need shelf life, obviously. So a lot of the ones with longer shelf life don't have a lot of high sugar content, which breaks down the fruit right away. Well, you get your local stuff. We grow the ones that taste really good because we have to, because otherwise our customers wouldn't buy them. They'd be like, why am I coming here? I can just grab them at the store, So we grow the ones that taste good, but they don't have the shelf life. But we're picking them that morning. I'm right now it's 7 o'clock here in California. I have guys right now picking strawberries, and they'll walk them over to drive them over, just a few hundred yards to the market and sell the ones we pick. So if you get there at 9 a.m, you're getting strawberries that were literally just picked 2 hours ago.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, Laura, can you imagine having their strawberries?
Oh, I know.
That's at the height of it's at the height of ripeness, but it's also at the height of when it's the healthiest too, because I mean you're literally it still has all of its nutrients and everything else. So they taste amazing, plus they're healthier, and you're not going to have to add sugar or anything like that to ours. And one thing that I wanted to let people know too is that when you buy a strawberry that looks like it's not ripe in the grocery store, it's not going to get any better. It's going to look like that when you finally decide to throw them away, because strawberries don't continue to ripen after you pick them. They start to ruin.
Wow.
So, yeah. So you want to, and as far as storing them, like when you buy strawberries, don't wash them. Just put them directly in your refrigerator. You can put them in an airtight container, but just put them in the refrigerator. And then when you want to eat them, then wash them and get them to room temperature, because they'll taste the best when they're at room temperature. When they're cold, you kind of can't taste the flavor.
Oh, right. Can you talk about just the war on the American farmer, though, and the war on Mother Earth, from chemtrails in our skies to the pesticides on our crops, and just what you are experiencing maybe personally with the world right now, and how challenged things might have gotten? I actually used to run an organic food shipping and delivery business for chemically sensitive people.
Oh, wow.
In the late 90s. It was called Living Earth, and I would go to the homes of people that were immune compromised because they had been exposed to lots of chemicals and poisons in the food that only could have the purest of pure. So I would go to all the organic farms, and I would, in my delivery truck, take the food to them, to their house. It was before GPS. So it was between 4 states. And yeah, when it was in the early 90s, I was, like Rachel Carson books and just really just the awareness of what has happened to our food. And now here we are, Monsanto, Bill Gates, and the war on the farms. Can you talk to us about what you're experiencing and what you're seeing in the world today? Because I remember back then it was pretty bad, but this is like next level.
Well, a lot of the farms are, big corporate farms. So they're cutting corners. They're going to do what they need to do. And I don't think any crop should ever be allowed to be sold that's sprayed with the, Roundup as a desiccant, because they're like, they do it in soybeans and wheat and other crops. They wanted the whole crop to be dry at the same time, which doesn't happen in nature. So they go through there and they spray it so that it all die at once. Well, then you're putting literally putting a herbicide on your food right before it gets harvested. I mean, that's where people are having a lot of problems with these things. You shouldn't do that. We should go back to the old way where it just, let it dry out, and when it's ready, you harvest it. But they don't want to take that risk of a storm coming through or damaging your crop and this and that. But that's kind of where we are now. Where I know a lot of local farmers don't do that kind of stuff because they're small and they can contain what they've got. It's just when the big guys have gotten so out of control.
I think that's one of the big things that Dan's talking about, like the big versus little farmer. One of the things, like people like Bill Gates are buying up our farmland. China's buying up our farmland. And so, and you think, to what purpose? Bill Gates is hardly the vision of health. And so I don't trust that he's going to do anything good with our farmland. So that's one assault that's happening. Another, the government is just constantly coming down our throats and doing more and more things. And especially here in California, the minimum wage and stuff is killing us here. Like when you consider that California as a base rate of pay is paying $15.50 an hour. And that's just for the base. That doesn't include all your workers' comp and your insurance and all of the other taxes that we have to pay per employee per hour. And then Mexico is paying their people basically $15 a day if they're lucky. And yet we're importing their produce, thus cutting out the farmer, the local American farmer, because we can't compete with the prices. And grocery stores and big chain stores are just like every other corporation, where they have their bottom line and their shareholders and all that they have to consider. So, it's really tough, because there's just so many different fronts that the American farmer is having to deal with that Mexico doesn't, and that doesn't even begin to take into account the organic situation there, or inorganic situation, I would say, in Mexico.
I also heard that the fertilizer they're using in Mexico is really, I heard it was human. Is that true?
I don't know if they can use that or not. I'm sure they use it.
They're not supposed to, but
You down there, you can use what you can get away with. It's all, if you have a problem, you just pay the right guy and the problem goes away. We can't really get away with trying to do something like that here.
Mm-hmm.
But
nor would we.
Yeah.
Gross.
That's why it's so important to save our farms. And
That's just hideous. That like is kind of where I was going with the organic. We have to be so careful with our things here. Like, seeds can't even ride together on the same truck if they're, if one's organic and one's not. It's just
the actual
crazy.
The crop that you produce, they want you to, truck it in on a different truck and all that. So
yeah.
There's no cross, getting it mixed up at the warehouse, point of delivery type of thing. And that makes sense.
But they don't have they don't have the same kind of regulation and oversight in Mexico that they do here. So
it seems like everything is stacked against the American farmer. And it doesn't seem like it is. From what you're telling us, it's like we're destroying our land, we're destroying the American farmer, and then what happens to the American people, right? We're eating food that doesn't have the nourishment it should. And when we do eat fruit, it's sprayed with Roundup and it's ruining our immune system. We're actually stop killing the population.
Oh,
By
100%.
100%, right? It's like you're killing off the farmers, you're killing Mother Earth, and you're killing the American people. I mean, it's so crucial to me that we fight for the American farmer, because the war on American farmer is a war on humanity. and a war
100%.
on-
I would say that if you could, the best thing that you can tell people, and best thing that people can do and the audience can do is to go to your grocery store, go to your big box store and say, don't you have any local produce that's grown within, a 50-mile, 100-mile radius of this store? Don't you have something local that you can bring in? Because that's what's going to save the American farmer. We have customers that'll, go to certain stores here and be like, hey, we love Manassero strawberries, bring those in, or something. So it's crucial to say, we want to see produce that's actually grown here in America. Like the thing that used to crack me up at one of the stores that we used to retail at, or that we still do actually, is when I would see and they've stopped doing it now because I think enough people are going, what? They had signs in front of the produce saying locally grown in Mexico. So like, when did Mexico get local to California?
local.
Yeah, I realize we're situated next to each other, but that's not locally grown.
Yeah.
And we say, I want produce that's grown in the United States. And if you have a farm near you, go directly to the farm. Don't go to the grocery store. Go directly to the farm. Then it's going to be like a situation with us. You're going to be purchasing right from the farmer and cutting out the middleman for the farmer. You're going to be getting the best produce, the healthiest produce, and the produce that's easiest to cook too. Because when it's fresh and delicious like that, it's so much easier to make it taste better because it already tastes good.
Right. Wow. How deceptive is the labeling though? I mean, where that can really confuse people, where the non-GMO or the organic label is not necessarily true.
Well, they've tightened those rules quite a bit. I mean, we sell some stuff that's not certified organic, but it's pesticide free, but we just didn't get it certified. Our strawberries are actually certified organic, and some squash we grow. But I mean, a lot of stuff, they made it so difficult and such a pain to get it certified, but you can't use the organic name at all. I mean, even if it's pesticide free, you can't say this is organic because which is good. I mean, in a way,
Right.
But so we just say it's pesticide free. We advertise it that way. So they've really tightened their regulations because everyone was saying, oh, this is like organic or that's organic, which means nothing. But now it actually has to actually be certified organic if you have the word organic in any way, shape, or form in your little label there or whatever.
But yeah, so labeling can be very deceptive. Like you said, you wanted to say certified if you're looking for actual organic stuff. And then, and like I said, locally grown. Stay away from this new thing if you see it in your area called Apeel, APEEL. And it's a coating developed by the one and only Mr. Healthy Pants, Bill Gates. And it's disgusting. The thing, and they've started hiding some of the bad things about it, but you can't wash it off, your produce. You can't, it's a coating that they put on. You can't wash it off. You can't scrub it off. And it says, there was a warning label saying, put gloves on or handle with care and like extreme caution, all this stuff. But yet I'm supposed to believe that if something that I shouldn't even let get in contact with my skin, that's okay to ingest. It's insane.
Well, it keeps the fruit from breaking down.
Mhm.
Well, that's not good. You want fruit that breaks down. What's
Right.
it going to keep from breaking down in your body?
But the thing that's so deceptive about it, I went on their website and the website's it's so very happy and cheery and diverse and full of equity and pushing all of the agenda that's going on in the world. But so all of that happening, but on every page it says, oh, this is a plant-based product, and it's very high, very slick website. It's all plant-based. Every page, it's plant-based. It's plant-based. What does that mean? Going to labeling. What does plant-based mean? Okay, there's a lot of things that are plant-based. That doesn't mean I want to eat them. And you go on to their frequently asked questions. And the last time that I went on there, the last question was, that they put on their website was, is this a chemical? And they don't answer the question. They send you to their Instagram page. It's so strange. I mean, that should be a straight up yes or no answer.
Yeah,
We shouldn't have to go through searching through your thing. And I did go to their Instagram page and I searched through, and you still cannot find any information on what it actually is. They never tell you what the ingredients are, what it actually is. So if they're working at that hard to not let us know what's in it, I really don't want to eat it. So really be careful. And I would say, if you see that in your grocery store, talk to the manager and say, get this out of here right now. It's poison. Your employee shouldn't be handling it. Please get it out of this grocery store, and tell your friends there's nothing more appealing than that stuff. It's horrible. And they always give these things these happy little names. And like Dan was saying, it's supposed to keep your produce from rotting. It's supposed to rot. That's how you know, like it. I mean, God did all this just fine.
Right.
We just like leave it alone.
Right. This geoengineering and this control of nature, just where this intervention of thinking that controlling nature to design it differently than God and Mother Earth intended is just.
Yeah.
Well, and now they got the fake chicken coming out. You've heard about that story.
yeah, we heard about
Yeah.
that fake chicken. That's
That's-
crazy.
I hear it's derived from cancer cells. That's how it reproduces so
What?
rapidly. Yes.
Wait,
And
it's
eternal, they
derived
call
from
them eternal cell lines or something like that.
oh
And
my
it's,
God.
I mean, why would you touch that stuff? It's terrible. I mean, it's untested. It's just, you don't know what it's going to do to you 5 or 10 years from
Yeah.
now. And we don't need it. That's the whole point. We don't need it, but they're trying to,
Mhm.
herd everybody into these little boxes of you're going to eat this and you're going to do that. Or
The other thing, though, that you should be aware of too is that when you look at something that says artificial flavorings, or you look on the label and it says artificial flavorings, but they don't tell you what those artificial flavorings are, or it'll say it'll give you like I forget what the wording is, but basically an undisclosed more stuff on the label. And the thing with our labeling in this country is that if there is a certain percentage that is, something has to be up to a certain percentage in the whatever that you're eating before they need to add it to the label.
So that's
So essentially, like they could have cricket flour
uh-huh.
in there, and
Well, they want
so
to feed bugs anyway.
right. So they could have something like that in there.
Right.
And unless it's at a certain percentage in the product, they don't have to label it.
Mm-hmm. It's just amazing how, you have to be a sleuth. You've got to be Sherlock Holmes before you put something in your mouth. And going back to the whole appeal thing, right? I've heard that those apples that are labeled organic are coated with appeal and they're selling in Costco.
Well, I haven't seen any here yet, but that doesn't mean anything. Because I'm a creature of habit. I tend to go to the same stores all the time. I need to branch out and look, but I will definitely look the next time we're in Costco. But they do have to put a sticker on it that if it says appeal, and it looks like the sticker is pretty easily identified because it looks like an apple. And
Crazy.
yeah, and it's not just apples that they're putting it on. They're also putting it on avocados, and there's several main ones, but you kind of be surprised at what they're putting it on. So you just have to be vigilant. And I would say it's easier to be vigilant around the perimeter of the store when all the ingredients should be, okay, it's fruit, or it should be, if it's bread, it should have a couple of ingredients that you recognize. But so it is easier to just shop around the perimeter of the store, which is the healthiest way to shop anyway.
It's interesting too.
Process.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because you're talking about the label that looks friendly and inviting.
Right.
And then I think about, remember, children's cereal commercials, and they were happy and pretty animated, and you just wanted to eat, Frosted Flakes and, all those other cereals, and like Count Chocula, because it was so cool, and Frankenberry. And, the colors were so inviting, and we were literally mind controlled and lulled into eating that food. And I feel like, they do the same thing with appeal. And it's like, you got to really be vigilant about like advertising and what they're trying to tell you and what they're trying to sell you. I feel like, sometimes I think we're a little bit discernmentally challenged, and we really gotta like focus and look at what we're eating. That's why I love what you said about the labels, and you know, we could be eating crickets, and that's just what they want us to do.
Right.
Well, the other day, I don't eat much mayonnaise anymore, but the other day I decided to look at the label, you know, and it said the first ingredient was soy oil. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is made out of eggs, right?
Right.
It always was. And now all of a sudden it's soy oil. So you think you're getting one thing, and people don't look at labels. And, you know, all these, you know, the government doesn't get out good information. They talk about the obesity crisis and all this stuff, but it's like people should not be eating seed oils. Those things are terrible for your body. You know, you should, I know they're cheaper, and that's why they put them in everything, but seed oils, no. You want to eat the avocado oils and the coconut oils and the healthy oils, not the bad oils.
Gosh.
People cooking these things and
Yeah. How about butter?
yeah, good old butter. Just
My favorite oil is butter.
You know that
I mean,
they try
Real butter.
to,
Real butter.
I remember when they were trying to tell you years ago that margarine was a better alternative to butter, and as it turns out, it was the worst thing for you. It was like putting sludge in your body.
I
You
can't
know,
imagine.
All these people.
yeah. They tried to get rid of Kerrygold butter in New York State.
That's terrible.
Governor,
They're
yeah.
so busy changing the
Why?
Jemima and worrying about just this
Right.
gender and racist stuff when it comes to food instead of actually the quality of the food. I mean, when you look at the lockdown, at the time of lockdowns, you can still go to a fast food store. You can still go to these places
Right.
and get the not so good food where all the small businesses are shutting down. I mean, what has it been like for you, and what kind of advocacy are you seeing around you in the face of all this? And do you feel that this war on Mother Earth and farming, do you feel we're going to be able to overcome this sort of you'll own nothing and be happy kind of thing? I mean,
Yeah.
you're
No, I don't think
coming out
that'll
with a
ever
book,
happen.
so you're bringing out a lot of awareness because you're writing a book, right? So
Kids books. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to hear about that too.
Yeah. But it's my view that it's a very coordinated attack on our entire system. Like that, yes, they're attacking the farmers so that they can, and Klaus Schwab says it right there, that he who controls the food can control the population. Of course, they want us to eat bugs. They don't want us to eat whole proteins and things, because then we're easier to control, because we don't feel good. We're sluggish. We're not going to get out and then go run on the beach or get out in the grass and do some yard work, which would be a fantastic thing for everybody to do. Get out there and do something that's healthy and be in the sunshine. They don't want that. So that's why with the chemtrails and all this, and the attack on our currency, the attack on farms, the attack on, letting China buy buildings and buy major businesses here. And they do it by just sidestepping and calling themselves something else, having a shell company that's buying the bigger companies. So there's just, everything seems to be going on at the same time. And so I think that the more that we can stick together and say, no, you know what, I want to support my local farm. I want to, instead of calling up, dialing up on Amazon and saying, hey, I need this or I need that, and putting that into your cart. How about go right to the source, and so that you're still supporting a mom and pop organization, So I know that it's more convenient, but go to the source. And that's becoming harder and harder because we haven't been doing that. We're doing this all to ourselves. We're feeding the beast. If we shop on Amazon, if we continue to watch Netflix and all these different things that are not good and that are contributing to all these woke politicians, that's how we're never gonna get rid of this. We've got to start taking our country back a little bit at a time. And it was so funny. I was at a dinner party with my girlfriends the other night, and I said, stop buying on Amazon. And my girlfriend was like, well, what do I, what? And I was like, you're 70 years old. You used to shop before there was an Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can figure it out. And she's like, oh yeah, go to the source. I'm like, yeah, go to the source.
It's interesting too, because you may be saving money by buying like produce and whatever at a supermarket, right? But it's going to cost you in the end, because
Right.
you're going to be eating stuff that is really going to wreak havoc on your immune system and
Right.
shred your intestinal lining. And if you go to a farm, you'll be eating live foods that is more nutritious and it's better for you. And then you're going to want to run on the beach. You're going to want to walk outside because you're going to feel better about yourself. I mean, I feel like this whole thing has been strategized just to like
Absolutely.
destroy humanity, destroy the farms, and destroy the planet.
Yeah,
Separate us from the mother.
not-
separate us from
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What'd you
for,
say?
for them to close down the beaches and stuff here in California, when the best thing for people would have been to go run right into the beach, and because sunlight's the best disinfectant and kills coronavirus. They've already proved that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we literally had children that were not children, but we had, because they had closed the public parks and the beaches and everything else, we have a kids area. And I literally had a few different moms cry to me when they realized that we own the farm, because they said, this is the only place where I can bring my child and let my child play outside and be, enjoy this little area, because we were under the radar. So our outside area didn't get closed down. And we had so many kids running around at that point so they could be out there. So we were happy to be able to provide that for the community.
It's just unbelievable, this control over the very planet that we exist upon, that provides us the abundance, provides us the air to breathe, the water, that this control mechanism has just been so like strong. I just, when you look at things like geoengineering and like the fires like in Canada and the derailments of the trains and just all these different attempts to create more toxicity and more poison, and where the shutdown or the lockdowns were, let's keep people away from the actual antidote and give them this diluted solution.
Well, the fires, they caught some guy actually was starting fires in Canada. I mean, he was trying to prove the narrative of global warming. Well, if global warming's for real, why do you have to prove the narrative and go start fires? It's crazy. These people are nuts.
I heard those fires were actually started. I saw pictures of helicopters that were Lockheed Martin, and that's what was starting the fires. I mean, you're right. They want us to believe global warming. Yeah, exactly. Fake news is like running this narrative.
Ugh.
They want to just keep us in fear because that's how they can control us.
Right.
Yeah, it's bad news when you got the media that's just so controlled like that. They're not even news people anymore. They're just given a script every day. We've all seen it. They all say the same thing all on the same day. And like, well, it doesn't happen like
There's
that.
your talking point.
Here's your talking points. It's like they get them in the morning. They probably literally do get them in the morning, print it out, and like, this is going to be our talking points, and use these words and phrase it this way. And it's crazy. I mean, people need to wake up and start seeing like, well, I mean, I think more people are, because when things get tough, like they are now, when they jack up the price of food and the price of fuel and all this stuff, people start going, what is going on here?
Well, I really hope people are waking up, and you're absolutely right I mean, people have to stop this. I mean, we have the power to do it. We have the power to turn around when enough of us realize what's happening, but they want to keep us in this divide and conquer humanity master plan of theirs, where we're fighting each other instead of fighting the real enemy, the people who are trying to kill us and control us and to starve us and to have us eating foods that are going to kill us.
It just seems so obvious though, because we're talking generations of this kind of thing, and this is like the grand finale of it just being worse than ever. You would think that the soul or the intuition or the instincts of a person would override the mind control and just taking it all in from what comes through the TV screen. I mean, it just seems like we haven't really learned from past generations of. I'm surprised that a lot of people that would seem to be like advocates or people that were anti-establishment are buying into this. Like people that you wouldn't expect are going along with this. They've been really triggered into fear. Have you been, how has it been for you in your community or just with your friends and peers? Do you feel like a lot of people are on board with you, or have you been shocked that a lot of people that were all about maybe consciousness and healthy living have sort of bought into the bait of this fear tactics and psyops that are being thrown at us constantly?
Well, I mean, coronavirus showed us a lot about how easy it is to herd people into here and there and make them believe all this stuff. They like that whole stay 6 feet away from each other. Then it turns out it was just, they pulled that randomly out of the air, like, oh, let's say this too. And there was no science behind it or anything. And people just bought into it. Like, oh, you're standing too close to me in the grocery line, kind of thing. So it taught us a lot that people aren't there's not enough of them waking up, and you got to just keep talking and rationally and try to explain to them, this isn't, think, people, think. You got to.
I heard someone, or actually was having a conversation with a gentleman the other day, and he was saying, instead of trying to say, I take that back. I don't know where I heard this, but it was a great advice. Instead of trying to say you're wrong or no, this is that information, like, why are you wearing that mask? Can you explain to me why you're still wearing a mask outside on your own?
That's
Yeah.
a really
Which makes
good
me a little
tactic.
crazy.
Yeah.
But instead of saying, oh, I'm just curious, can you tell me why? And then as they're trying to justify whatever they're doing, they're like, oh, well, did you hear about that? No. Okay, well, did you hear about that? This or that? Instead of attacking, which is usually what I get so frustrated I want to like pull the mask off their face and go, breathe air. That's the best thing for you, like breathe some real air. But
Yeah.
so I think maybe trying to do that, but we're all affected by what's going on, by what these companies are doing, and they're so woke. But if we stop feeding the beast, and by stop going to Starbucks, stop going to some of the biggest aggressors, like get off of Facebook, get off of don't do all these things. There's only so much we can do, and there's only so much that people are kind of willing to do. But if we just do a few things, I read somebody saying, you don't have to give up everything made in China, because it's almost impossible. You can't. I mean, if you take an aspirin, you're helping China. But so we can't do it with everything. But if you do, just start doing nope. Instead of buying that broom, I'm going to buy that broom that's made in the US. Or look for things that way.
Mindful
instead of, right, exactly. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, being mindful and conscious. I just can't believe just like Whole Foods and some of the health food stores, even Swan Valley Herbs, can't go in when it first all started. And I'm like, well, there's mullein right there on the shelf for the respiratory stuff. Why do I? This is an herbal store. Why are you wearing a mask? It's just like a dialogue you're having with people that are at these health food stores that are selling herbs and healing modalities and crystals and stuff like that. It's like you're surrounded by the medicine of the earth. And it's just surprising that they've been under the trance as well. And so when you see like Whole Foods like pushing these kind of narratives that have organic food on the shelf, that must just drive you guys nuts. Just it drives me nuts.
No, no, it's crazy. It's still it's blows my mind how many people are still wearing a mask and who are still just
in their
living
car
in
by
that
themselves.
fear.
Yeah, I can't take that.
Living in living in fear. I mean, we have to take it back. Like we're Americans, we are strong people, and let's take back the country, be brave, take that mask off, just I think just slowly start to wake other people up as you can. It's just it's gotten to be a difficult thing to do because the media and the woke politicians have gotten so good at branding people that want to eat in a healthy way and that want to go ahead and continue to eat meat because they like it, and that they, I have to have a truck because you can't have an electric car in the middle of or electric truck or tractor in the middle of the United States. So, and they've labeled those people to be disinformation or conspiracy theorists and stuff. It's like, no, God did this just fine, and I'm going his way. Just because I'm not going with you doesn't make me a conspiracy theorist.
I agree with you 100%. And I think what you said about asking questions and talking to people, like that's exactly what we should be doing, because they want to keep us divided. They want us to be fighting with each other. But if we start dialoguing and asking questions and getting other people to think, that's definitely a way out of this situation, because then we're engaging with everybody else and we're questioning and like getting them to question. Hopefully we're getting them to question, because we have been brainwashed by the mockingbird media and their talking points. The media has just really become another arm of the CIA. They're just a bunch of propagandists, most of them, and they're not really thinking.
Right. And they've gotten so good at targeting us from the beginning, you know, from childhood. They start working on our kids, and the whole thing. That's, yeah, absolutely. That's why when I decided to start trying to write some children's books, is because we actually sell kids books at our market, adult books as well, but we sell kids books as well. And I was horrified because I got a catalog from one of the book companies, and the first page out was like, oh, Tomorrow's Farm and Tomorrow's City. So, okay. So I read the little excerpt from it, and Tomorrow's Farm, it starts off, well, oh, the farmer will wake up and she will look at her fields by sending a drone up and exploring the fields. And then I think they said, I don't remember what kind of tractor they called it, but basically it was like an electric tractor will plow the fields and a robot will pick the produce. And then you'll eat your sweet strawberries inside your house. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, it's insane. And so, and like Tomorrow's City was like, oh, you'll get to your school on a basically conveyor belt, and a drone will deliver pizza to your house. I'm like, no, we should be walking, and we shouldn't be. If drone's going to deliver something, how about some fresh produce, not pizza? You know, I mean, it's just insane. So what's going on? But the indoctrination is just happening. That trying to normalize a drone and electric this and electric that and all that, when we don't even have any power plants. We don't have enough electricity to power this stuff if we wanted to. So I just decided that, you know what, I can't just complain that there's not enough good books and that there's virtually no books about produce. There's farmers' books about Old MacDonald and this, you know, this cow and that, whatever, that about animal farms, but not about produce farms. So I wrote a little book about produce called The Farmer's Daughter, and talks about how that she goes out and she picks the produce, and how her dad talks to her, you know, shows her that this is how God grows produce. I love it. And kind of bringing back God into the conversation, and making it okay to talk about God, and okay to like this, no, I want to eat healthy. And so teaching our children that way. So we have to target them back. We can't just oh, well, there's nothing I can do, so I won't do anything. I love that. That's what they've gotten us into.
Yeah. I bet a lot of people are gravitating towards just, wow, like in gratitude, thank God there's some sensibility here, because with the 15-minute cities and with just this climate change and this globalist agenda that's making people, or convincing them to feel that, wow, okay, we're going along with this because this is the solution, when it's actually in an inverted
it's just, climate change is a tool just so they can get more control. Like I try to tell people, I mean, they have literally been wrong for 45 years. That's not science. Show me some evidence of what they say has been going on for 45 years, and they can't, because all they can say is, well, if we don't do this, if you don't stop driving cars, or you don't stop doing this or that, 20 years from now, this and this is going to happen. Well, they were saying that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even 40 years ago. It never happens. And there's really nothing going on right now that hasn't happened before. So it's just a tool they're using to get control of us. You know, raise the price of fuel where people can't drive. You got more control of people. Raise the price of food. You know, everything it's just about them getting more control, and us having less money and being poor. And if you can explain it to people in a way like that, they're, you know, have them start thinking, it's like, yeah, what is going on? If it was really a problem, there'd be a major thing going on every week or month in the world. Have you heard any major climate disasters lately? No, because nothing's really going on. And they were saying, you know, 20 years ago, the barrier reef will be gone in Australia. Well, I just read a story that it's bigger than it's ever been recorded in history. Wow. I mean, so another thing where they had to take down a sign in Glacier National Park that said by 2020, this glacier will be gone. Well, 2020 came around and the glacier was still there. And so they're like, uh-oh, well, maybe we should take this sign down that's been up for 20 years saying that the glacier will be gone. And
So,
the Antarctic, actually, I just read a story just a few days ago. The Antarctic has been adding ice every year for the last 10 years. It's bigger than it was 10 years ago. Well, none of this was supposed to happen, you know? So it's just like, this isn't science, people. This is BS.
so I think, you know, they want to keep us dependent and they don't want us to grow our own food. It seems like the most subversive thing you could do is buy food from farms or grow your own food, right?
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people who do want to grow their own food?
Well, I mean, it's some crops are really easy, like zucchini squash grows like a weed. You know, you can neglect it and you're still going to make a huge crop. You can eat that I mean, and then as soon as you can grow it, depending on where you live, continuously. Like here in Southern California, we almost have zucchini year round.
Oh, wow.
You know, and then the hard squashes like the butternuts and stuff, you grow one crop. And since they store because they're hard, like this is what people used to do in the old days, you know, when they didn't have refrigeration, they would grow crops like those and potatoes that they could store and eat in the winter, you know. So, and it's very simple. There's so many videos out there of how to grow stuff. And if people want to do it, it's really easy to do, you know.
If somebody wants to contact you and ask advice, would you
Oh,
respond?
100,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%. They can ask us questions via our Instagram, which is we're at Manassero Farms on Instagram, and also via our website, manasserofarms.com. We have there's an info. So, and they can ask a question, contact us, and it'll come directly to us. And we would be more than happy to answer questions, or if somebody, you know, if we don't know it, we'll try to help guide you to the place that does, because obviously, you know, we know farming in Southern California, but people in different areas, but that doesn't mean that if you have some basic questions or something, we'd be absolutely happy to answer those.
Wow.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know just simple things like if you can't grow the tomatoes in the same place every year because they get soil diseases and they won't do as well. You got to move them around, you know, and then maybe where you had your tomatoes, you plant broccoli and cauliflower and that stuff, and that doesn't have a problem. So, and then you incorporate it back into the soil when the crop is done, and the rotting leaves of broccoli and cauliflower actually can kill off some of the soil diseases as they're decomposing in the soil. There's things like that.
It turns out that God kind of knew what he was doing and with this whole system and provided everything that we need. We don't need Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates adding to it. We're good.
Right. We have all this on top of the transgender confusion, and the indoctrination is like so out of control. And you can only lead by example and live the life that you know is the way that is connected to this, the way it should be, in order to hopefully inspire people to walk away and starve this beast from overtaking their minds. It's just really devastating to witness. So you have these books coming out, and you're this incredible resource. You have this farm, and you're just living this life and such an example to inspire other people. Where do you feel? Do you feel like we're gonna win this war? Do you feel like something's gonna just kind of split, or we just stick to building community and doing things locally? Where do you kind of see the future of all this for humanity?
Well, I mean, I'm a big believer in God, so I believe that of course God is going to win in the end. But I think that God needs our help, and He's showing us where the problems are. I mean, it's so evident if you're paying any kind of attention. We know what to do, but we can't win if we don't stick together and if we don't wake up and start fighting back and pushing back against politicians that are trying to, like you said, indoctrinate our children and make all this stuff okay. Nobody's going to ride in and save us. We have to do it ourselves. We have to stop feeding the beast. Start taking our world back, take our kids back, because as America goes, so goes the world. And I think that it's been kind of disappointing to me. I feel like our population is just so lazy and stupid and just paying too much attention to the mockingbird media. by not, because they're not getting all the information and they're not doing the digging that they should to see, hey, is there something else out there?
Mhm.
So we have to do it ourselves.
Well,
And
they're too distracted with all the bread and circuses that have been just, it's everywhere. You know, the media, everyone has their cell phones they're staring into, and you know, the plentiful cheap food that's not healthy for you is everywhere. But when people start to actually start hurting, maybe then they'll wake up, but then it could be too late. So I'm hoping we just got to keep talking to people and get the word out. I mean, people,
That's what,
they've been at this for 100 years.
Right.
Mhm.
The dark side, as I like
Yeah.
to call it, you know, kind of like they're the Star Wars dark
Well,
side. They've been at this
are.
for over 100 years, and they play the long game.
Mhm.
And they're right now they're winning, but I can see, you know, little lights of
it does seem like, I know that there's more
Hope.
of us. I know that there are more practical people than not.
Mhm.
I just think that we get bullied into being quiet, and we have to stop being quiet. We have to stop saying, no, there is no climate change. Of course, you know what? Yeah, the climate does change all the
Yeah.
time. That's
Exactly.
they're called seasons.
yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? That's the very nature of nature, is to change. So we have to just fight back against this and make it cool to be like, I believe in God's climate change. I believe in, you know, and there's enough. And just to fight back, stop buying on Amazon, stop buying, you know, like just stop feeding the beast. Don't go to Starbucks, don't go to Target, don't do all these companies that are just in your face, indoctrinating our kids. Don't go there anymore.
Mhm.
walk away.
You know, our dollars are really the only thing that's I feel like that's gonna really make an impact. If we cut them off at the pocketbook, we'll have a better chance, because, you know, we can't storm these stores with pitchforks. It's not gonna work.
Right.
I think somebody once told me the worst thing you could do to somebody is turn your back on them. So I think the best thing we can do is turn our backs on those people, those stores, and support our local farmers, support you. And what I love most about you two is the fact that not only are you've created this beautiful farm and you're growing this amazing produce and you're feeding people and making them healthy, but you're also advocates for other farmers, and you really believe in Mother Earth and growing, and that she can sustain us, and all we have to do is support each other. And I think, you know, if we stay on that track and if we support each other, I think, and believe and know that God will sustain us, I think we'll be okay, but we have to keep talking.
Right. They've scared us into submission of being quiet. Don't be quiet.
Mhm.
I'm not a racist. I'm not anti-gay or anything else, just because that I don't want a drag queen reading to my 3-year-old grandchild. That
Right.
doesn't make me against you. That
Mhm.
makes me
Right.
for my granddaughter.
Right.
So it's just, we have to stand up for what we're for and stop being quiet. The time for being quiet is way done.
Mhm.
Way done. And the thing that I've always found too is, if you're willing to just like, you can tell who's going to be on kind of on your page or not. You kind of tell. So, and if you put a little seed out there, and if somebody bites, be like, hey, yeah, I know about that. Do you know about this? And share some information. And then you start, that's how we start to realize, you know what, there are more of us. I don't need to listen to that crap. That doesn't have anything to do with me. That's your stuff.
Mhm.
And then people will be less afraid to talk.
Right.
The more you talk, the you know, let's shed some light. We have to shed the light of God, the light of what's good.
They'll say, you're doing it, so I can do it.
Right.
It's
Courage is
encouragement.
kind
It's
of,
like if she can do it, if they can do it, if you guys can do it, that it's more encouraging, instead of to be in this dependency bond out of fear with this false authority that is absolutely an inversion of any kind of progression or evolution on this planet. It's just, you know, I know you're just sparking inspiration in so many people to just say, wow, because you can see the confusion in their faces. And just, oh, will I get in trouble? Will I be punished? Well, what do people think? It's like, no, be brave.
Yeah.
I mean, you're standing for just Mother Earth, yourself, your soul, future generations. This is for your children. How could we possibly compromise? I mean, this is the time to cut the cords with this old system, and it's just so grateful for you guys just doing what you're doing.
Well, I tell people, do it for your kids, do it for your grandkids. You know, if you can't do it, stand up for them, then what good are you? Really?
Yeah,
I mean, courage is contagious. Speak up. And then people will see, well, they're speaking up. Maybe I should speak up. You know, it's contagious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't want to be the last one saying, you know, this is good when everybody knows it's not. You're going to look like a fool.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what? I don't want to be taken over and then go, oh God, I wish I would have spoken up. Why didn't I say anything?
Yeah.
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 Why didn't I say anything when I could?
Mhm.
And I have to tell you, I mean, you know, we're not courageous. We're not courageous. We're doing what we have to do. We're doing what God called us to do. We are not courageous. We were just as scared as anybody else before we thought long and hard about, okay, we have a business. We have a business and we would like to retire, you know, so we're taking literally our entire life in our hands by speaking out and knowing that we're going public and putting it out there about how we feel about things. But that's not courageous. We just have to do it. And I'm like, if not us, who? If not now, when? We just have to do it.
Exactly.
You have to. And so you just do it. Just
Yeah.
stop buying Nikes, but do that.
Yeah.
Speak up.
Exactly.
People are so afraid of surrendering. They're so afraid of not getting that paycheck. They're afraid of what people think. They're so hooked in, like you said, it starts from the minute we're born, just the indoctrination, being stuck in front of the television, going through the school systems, and this slow grooming since just this Project Mockingbird and all the MK Ultra, geoengineering, and it's just been grooming people generation after generation. This next generation has to have, you know, people just it's beyond being courageous. It's common sense. It's being soul centered. It's living your truth. It's knowing that you can let go of all that and know something much greater is going to sustain you. And this is the only way to really heal and begin to switch on, you know, all these aspects of ourselves that they are trying to convince people that don't exist. It's the problem reaction solution that is looping people into further enslavement without them realizing it, with these false movements. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So we're all going to stick together, and I know it's like I've lost my channels, and the censorship is out of control, and I don't even feel like it's courageous. It's like, it's a worse death to be silent and to live in compliance with this insanity. I'd rather just drop the fear of death, just to live with the integrity and dignity of just refusing to go along with this insanity and bullshit. So I'm just really so grateful to meet you guys. And so are you feeling, since you've had a voice, a lot of community support, a lot of people just sort of this like, thank you so much. You're saying what I couldn't say, and I feel more comfortable.
Yes, we are getting, I absolutely just love it when we get an email or a message or something from people saying, oh, we saw you, we agree with you, thank you so much. And, you know, and so I love that. And I adore it when somebody will come over and say, oh, I heard you on this show, we saw you, thank you for saying that. And, you know, and we agree. And then as maybe somebody's coming up and talking to me at the farm, then maybe somebody else hears it and they'll be like, oh, and then you get to pull people in. But being quiet, you're never going to pull people in by being a scared little rabbit and staying in your rabbit hole. So just speak up and speak out, and it's really all we can do. I mean, but we're not going to win this war by being alone. And God calls for us to be warriors, and so I believe in that. Faith without works is dead. We got to work. Yeah. And it's a pain in the ass. I don't really don't, you know, I mean, Dan and I talk about this all the time. Like, did you ever think we'd be doing media? It's crazy. I mean, like, no.
But I love that you are, because we need you to speak out.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
You know what else?
We appreciate what you ladies are doing. It's great. We're all on the same page and have to keep doing it.
Yeah. So we were that's why we really wanted to talk to you, because we knew, you know, our show was called Divine Mother Earth Time. And, you know, our planet is divine, and it's brought on by, and our food comes from God, and we just thought there's no better guest than you two. So we're just so grateful to have you on.
Oh, you're so
Great.
sweet. Thank you.
Yes. And so you've got books coming out, and we'll share all your links. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, this is to me the great awakening is remembering, who you are, your power, your connection with Mother Earth. When people talk about ascension and all this kind of stuff, to me, it's being a steward and a guardian of, future generations and our own children, and connecting deeply with Mother Earth, and not allowing these assaults to take place anymore, because just as much as there's geoengineering, it's also the mind control and social engineering, and the two go hand in hand. The minute you break free of all of that, you begin to purify your own being, which helps you to work with Earth in the most pure expression of what abundance can come from her. It just seems like this inversion is just like a whole nother world that is just going to like fall away, because she's so much more powerful than all these dark weapons and all these dark agendas. And ultimately,
Right.
are the human spirit, and Mother Earth is going to
Well, it just
triumph.
it cracks me up for the arrogance of thinking that we can affect the climate just cracks me up. I mean, all you need is one little earthquake, and in a second you realize, we have no control. I mean, it's just like the simplest little things. We realize, my daughter would call me last night, and she was upset because there was a hailstorm in Houston. Like, so yeah, if you think you can control that, you can't. So we don't have control over this earth, and we need to start realizing that, and realizing that even if we did every green thing that they wanted us to do, the effect from just the United States doing it is so minuscule, would have absolutely no effect at all on this planet. And when people say, oh, the science is settled, I mean, it just cracks me up. Like, the science is never settled. And the scientists that they're allowing to be on network media, the Mockingbird media, is people that agree with their agenda. They don't ever put somebody on the other side that says, no, that what you're saying is absolute rubbish. You don't get to hear from those people.
Yeah, there's no debate. When there's no debate, you're being fed a line. If you're not getting both sides of the story where you can make up your own mind. I mean, now, before, they were never heard anything about nitrogen in farming being bad. And now all of a sudden they're coming after farmers, going, you have to cut back on your nitrogen, and you have to cull your herds and cut back on your animals. It's like, wait a minute, you've been saying you knew the science for 40 years, and now all of a sudden this is new. What changed? What made you decide to do this now? When you start thinking about it that way, it's like they're making this stuff up as they go along. How can we get more control? Well, let's cut the farmers back
and
cull the herds.
Climate change is how they're getting to everything. Everything is because of the climate.
Right.
So that's literally probably the number one thing that we need to fight back on, is that it's climate BS that they're pushing. And we need to fight back against that, because that's how they you need to have CBDCs, that electronic currency, because it saves the earth. Then you don't have to go to the bank, and then you have to do that. So literally every single thing that they do, that they push, and you need this fake meat because it's going to save the planet. You need to have appeal because it's going to save the planet, because then the produce will last longer and they will have to grow less, which is going to save the planet. There's always an agenda. Follow the money, follow the agenda, and then you'll see what they're pushing. They're not pushing health.
No, they're trying to kill us. How can they be?
They're not pushing sustainability. I mean, when people realize that, they would stop driving their Priuses if they realized that the cobalt and all these things is getting mined by small children. And if they're sitting on top of a lithium battery a lot, is, especially in Southern California, when you're for hours on end, is not healthy. And the waste from that, all of that does, is far worse for the environment than using a car that uses fossil fuels. So it's just there's a lot of misinformation that's going on out there that's just gotten indoctrinated into our kids
And then when they start
and,
using,
and adults.
yeah. And when they start using QR codes, if you don't comply. And-
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So,
Yeah,
and then
so-
we won't be able to get food because of the central bank digital currency. So
It's going to
yeah,
take each
that's
and every
more
one of
control.
us, each and every human
Mhm.
to wake up to this to be able to crush it, because the consent and the going along with it is the worst thing that anybody could be doing. The minute we
Exactly.
determine that we're
So
not.
I used to think, we the people save the people, right? But now I think I, the person, saves the person. It all starts with us. Well, I just wanted to thank both of you for joining us today. Laura and I
Oh,
are
you're
so
welcome.
appreciative.
Anytime.
We were just so excited to have you on.
You're so sweet. You're more than welcome. And anytime, we'd love to do it. But then good luck with everything that you're doing. We appreciate you. And thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
And it's Divine Mother Earth time. So it's time to now support our farmers and support each other.
Thank you. Go
So
local.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
ladies.